best businesses in the world have one thing in common. Their founders and sales teams know that every single lead that goes to their system that are qualified end up being converted. They know every single detail about the sales process, how long it takes to contact them, how many leads did we get from different sources, how long did XYZ salesperson take to send them a proposal, when did they close, how many did we close, etc. They know all their numbers, and every single boring admin work is automated to the brim, which is why Alex Hamodi said you should not be working harder, you should be working smarter with better systems. How do I know all these things? At this point, we worked on the CRM system and we're completely still managing CRM for Lob and Mike, who a pretty big influencer, and so many folks that we've helped and managed and set up and optimized the CRM system. And this is one thing that I see most 5, 6 and even 7-figure business owners create some sort of patchwork sales system that is not customized to the sales process, has a shit ton of manual stuff, which is why their sales team hates that shit and doesn't do anything about it, doesn't have proper data, and they have some spreadsheet or some boring ass cluttered uncustomized CRM with some WhatsApp messages and some Slack messages, all hoping that everything just goes smoothly and they don't lose leads. Which is why in this video I'm going to be showing you the step-by-step instructions on how to set up a proper CRM system, how to automate the CRM system, best practices, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it by opening up my CRM. So the CRM I'll be using is going to be GoHighLevel, but I made sure that this checklist and this process that I'm going to show you works across all the CRM systems, whether it's Pipedrive, whether it's your shitty ass spreadsheets, Zoho, Odoo, HubSpot, Salesforce, whatever CRM it is you're using is going to work. So let's get into the ultimate CRM Masterclass. Alright, let's jump into it, yeah? So first thing is first, yeah? At this point, you guys would all know why do we need to have a proper CRM system, right? Because your stupid ass has all these problems that happen when you don't have a proper CRM system. See, when you get started, when you're in the 8 early 5 figures, it's fine. You get away. You don't have much leads to begin with. You remember all those things. But let me tell you something, yeah? When was the last time when you were taking a shower, you're taking a big fat dump after eating a Taco Bell, you remember, shit, God, that lead that came in 2 weeks ago, did anyone contact him? Why hasn't anyone responded? Then you realize that no one contacted him. Or when you check your spreadsheets, you saw someone submitted a contact us from like 2 months ago. Or when someone asks you, what's your sales? Where do you get your most amount of leads from? You're like, I don't know it. I don't track these things. You're stupid ass. How the hell are you going to grow your business to 7 figures? How are you going to make your dad proud by having such shitty ass sales system? You can't scale a business with these things, right? So I'm not going to go over all the problems. You already know. Just read this thing, all right? You already know all the problems that happens without a proper CRM system. You can't track sales. You're going to lose leads. Your team is going to hate shit because, it's very hard to collaborate. You're going to lose customer retention. You're going to have a terrible customer experience because you take so long. It's going to be very inefficient. It's going to impact your sales no matter what's going to happen. So let's go over how do we set up a proper CRM system. I'm going to explain you exactly how to set every single thing up in 4 to 5 simple steps. It's that simple, all right? So if you just follow these steps, you can go from a shitty ass spreadsheets or an unoptimized CRM that you have to a fully AI powered customized CRM system that's going to help you get to the 7 to 8 figures that you're looking for. All right. So let's get started. The first and the most important thing of them all is you need to map your sales process. This is something that I'm shocked that most business owners don't do. And 90% of the work that I do, right? Me as a business owner with my team, we set these things up on a daily basis. The main thing that we do is we just sit down, understand every single process for our clients. And the way we do that is I'm going to show you something that I'm not supposed to show you because I love you guys and I want the best for you. I'm going to show you, yeah? I'm going to show you something that I'm not supposed to show you, yeah? I'm not supposed to show to my competitors because before anything, we always make sure my client fills this format. I sit down with them and make sure they fill out because the majority of the work is understanding how their business process works. And the way you can do that is by firstly answering these questions, right? You can use AI, by the way, ask me the questions so you can understand my sales process and it's going to list things down for you. So first thing that we need to do is answer these questions. So I'm going to show you exactly what questions I ask my clients so that you can ask these questions to yourself and write it down, and then I will show you how to map out your process. Whenever my clients select CRM, it's going to ask them a bunch of questions like, who are your target audience? Are you targeting B2B? Are you targeting B2C? Are you doing both? Where do you get your leads from? Is it Facebook ads? Is it this? Is it that? Is it organic? Tell me a bit more about your service. These are not relevant, but the most relevant part is stuff like, what fields do you want to have for your contacts? Like, what information do you want to store? Sometimes people want to store a bunch of questions like, hey, what's your weight? What's your height? What's your this? What's different business? If you're like a gym owner, you want all these details. But if you're like a service-based business, you want things like, which industry are you from? What's your budget? Stuff like that. So what fields, what information do you want to store about them, so that even if they come a year later, you know exactly who they are. And do you have leads and deals pipelines? That is SQL and MQL. SQL means sales qualified leads, and MQL means marketing qualified leads. Yeah. So different businesses have different definitions of SQL and MQLs. So do you have both? Do you separate them both, or do you just combine them together? If you're like a very typical service-based business, you would probably have both of them combined. A very interested lead comes in, then they just book a call, do certain things. That's just one deal pipeline. But if we have SQLs and MQLs, where some lead comes in, then you slowly nurture them, then they do certain actions, then they become qualified to book a call with you. So then you need both. So if you need both, then you need to write down different journeys for each. But if you don't have both, all you need to do is just explain what your deal journey looks like. What does your deal journey look like? They come, they either book a call, or they submit a contact us form, or they do something. After they do something, what are the different steps that you do? I'll give you an example. A lead inquires, you call them, you qualify them, then they book a consulting call. On the consulting call, you understand their pain points, you understand the process that they have, you understand how you can help them, and then on the call, you'll be like, hey, let's schedule a call 2 days from now, I'm going to create a proposal. Then you create a proposal. Then on the call, you show the proposal. Then you send them a contract. Then you send them an invoice, and boom, they won. That's the sales journey. So you just define them like, step 1, contact us. Step 2, qualification. Step 3, call. Step 4, proposal creation. You see, just define that, and then you need to answer what exact steps that you take in each and every single step. This is the most important and crucial part of them all. You have to sit down and define every single activity that you do for each of these stages that we just grouped right now. All right. And once you define these things, you'll have a much better, I swear to God, this exercise is not for me, it's for you. You will have a much better clarity on exactly what all steps you do. You can see all the redundancy. You can be like, hey, why do we need 2 different calls to qualify and do this? Why don't we just combine them into one? Stuff like that you can understand. You can ask, what suggestions do we have? Or better yet, you can ask a CRM expert that specializes in these things, especially in your industry. Ask them, hey, what are the best practices should we follow? They can help you define these things, all right? And then you define what fields. So contact fields is different, and deal fields. There are 2 different objects. Contacts is a different object. It's like water and fire. They're somewhat similar properties, but they just treat it differently. So what fields do you want for the deals to have? So in deals, you can be like, deal, which service they're interested in this time for this deal, what the price is for this contract that you're about to have, information related to the contract or the stuff that you're about to sell. You can store them in here. Just define what all fields do you need. And honestly, that's pretty much it. That's the main thing that you need to understand. All these things are just unnecessary. Yeah, this is stuff for me. But for you guys, the only thing is the deal journey, what all activities that you do, what details do you want to store for the deals and leads. That's it. That's all you need to understand. Once you can define that in a paper, the next step I want you to do is I want you to map them out. Okay, I need you to map them out. How do you map them out? You can go to so many tools like Whimsical, like Lucid Charts, like Miro. You define, you map. Lead comes in from here. What happens next? It's the most simple thing that you can do that's gonna save so much of your time. It can help you have a better clarity on how your business works. All right, I can show you some examples. So this is a process map that we worked on for a drop shipping company. They get the orders. What happens next? We send them a welcome email. Then we create the contact on the CRM called Pipedrive. Then we check a sheet to see which vendor's product did they buy. Then we message the vendor. So you see every single step. Then we have decision tree. Which type of order did they make? Did they make a order where we have to go to a portal and apply for the order, or do we just email the vendor? So decision trees it's so simple. I can give you another example here. Another simple example is for this coaching client, lead books a call from appointment. We create a deal. We send them a welcome email. Then we wait for 72 hours to remind. Then we remind them. See, every single touch point, every single thing that happens, it's always important to define and map them in a very simple process map. Not only is going to help you understand all the loopholes and all the ways in which you are being extremely stupidly inefficient, you can also teach your team members, teach your salesperson, like, hey, this is our process. It's going to be so much easier to onboard and even for your team to understand exactly what's going on. Because without that, right, what's going to happen is something like this. I swear to God, this is what happens in every single client that I work with, which is 98% of them who don't have a proper system, this is how they do. They always prioritize the new leads first. Yeah, they prioritize the new leads first. The leads from last week is drowning. You haven't contacted them. They're almost ready to give up on you, and then the lead who contacted you 2 weeks or before, they're just dead in the water. You haven't contacted. It's a funny meme. Yeah, such a funny meme. That's the exact same situation for every single founder who don't have a proper CRM, hasn't automated shit, and doesn't know what's going on in their business. This is why you need a really, really good CRM system, which I'll be going over in this video. Furthermore, when you don't map out processes, you don't know who's assigned to what. Everything is chaos, so many things happening. So I hope this becomes clear on why it's important to map out a sales process and define these things. Now that you defined what your sales process is, what all things do you do, what all fields do you need, and now that you mapped them out, something like this, something where you mapped out every single touch point where you get the leads from. Another example, this is a very complex example, right? You don't have to be this complex. We've mapped out a sales process for a 7-figure agency recently, and yeah, they get leads from Facebook, Google, organic search. They all go to the contact us form. Then we create the contact. Then we make sure these fields are updated. Then we create the opportunity in the deal. Then we send them a welcome email, welcome SMS. We create a task. We notify them on Slack. You see, we single thing. Then every different thing that happens, if they came from webinar, referrals, scorecards, or if they don't respond, we call them. What do? We try to message them, then we message them again, then we follow up with them on the third day. Every single process, right? They just map them in here. You can use different colors, by the way, to define certain things. Like for us, gray means manual, green means it's automated. This means the decision tree. So you can use different colors, different objects. This makes it much, much easier. And also always define them in here, something like this, so they understand what it is that you've done. Because if you don't define what each color means, then who's going to remember? All right. Now that you defined what a sales process looks like, the next thing, the next thing that you need to do is build out a CRM pipeline. Alrighty, now is the step. Now is the technical stuff, and now we're getting into the nitty-gritty part of the CRM things. So what this step means is now that you define these things, now you can start building out your CRM. How do you build out a CRM? Yeah. So the first thing is any CRM that you use. By the way, don't use Excel. Yeah, I'm gonna attach a video in here that shows you how to choose the best CRM for your business. But whatever CRM you end up choosing, right? Never ever use a CRM as it is. Take a blank canvas stuff. Start using it. No, you need to customize your CRM to your unique business process. You can make sure every single lead. Why would you not customize your CRM to your process and lose clients? Why would you do that? Why would you do that to your team members? Why would you do that to your clients who took their time to contact and reach out to you? Don't do that shit. So how do we build out proper CRM? There is few steps involved. The first thing is making sure the pipelines and stages are defined, which we did on the previous process. And now that you defined them, and you can use AI, by the way, go back and forth with AI. The AI would exactly define what stages that you need. You can now set up those pipeline and set up those stages in your CRM. I'll show you exactly how to do that. Once you do that, set up the custom fields that you need. Now, we define them early in the stage, right? We define them. It looks something like that. I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. So the way I define a CRM stage is sometimes I use AI, but at this point, doing this for 6 years, I'm the AI. All the redirecting happened in here. So this is the LLM model. So I'm able to define the pipelines that my client needs here. So I would put them in different categories. This is when they have SQLs and MQLs, but in some stages it's very simple. They just have one pipeline like this. They just have one simple pipeline like this. We show them in the process map, we explain what the pipeline does, and we define each stages and what happens in each stages. So it's going to be very simple like this. So yeah, so we explain what the pipeline looks like. Once we explain what the pipeline looks like, now we go to the CRM system and we create it. Same thing in the custom fields. We define every single custom field that they need. So starting from the basic details to details that are relevant to that particular business. Some businesses need LinkedIn URL. These two things I always recommend, such as initial date in which you contacted them and the latest date in which you contacted them. So you know exactly when was the first day that you contacted them, when was the last time you contacted them. Stuff like that. Interested service, very important. Choose whenever they come to you inquiring about a service, select which service they're interested. It doesn't matter if you only offer one service, but in the future you are going to offer more services. So always have this regardless. Lead source is the most important custom field that anyone needs to have. Defining which source leads come from is the most important, crucial part of them all. If you want to take a step further, it can do what HubSpot does, where you can have different source fields. You can have a thing called lead source, where it's going to be 4 different sources: paid source, organic source, referral source, direct source. And then it's going to have a thing called source drill down, where you define which pair it is, which organic it is, which referral it is. So you can firstly see which segment of leads you have the most, that is paid segment or this segment or that segment. And the drill down is going to show you exactly which specific source you come from. That's what I do. But if you're starting out, you don't have to do that. I'm going to show you how to do both of those things. But for now, just start with the lead source and have all the sources that you usually have. Then that's the source that I would recommend, fields that I recommend for deals. Things like the contract date, when you send the form, all the contract, the details that you put in a contract, put them in the deal fields in there. I'll tell you why that's important. When you want to follow up, what the decisions they choose, stuff like that. The amount, is it a retainer client, or is it an existing business or a new business, or is it a referral business? Stuff like that are important fields, So let's not get too complicated. So creating the custom fields, then making sure the base settings of the CRM is customized to your business, which includes things like the profile, the time zone, the way in which how many users do we have, what all features do you want to enable. Don't enable features that you don't need and overcomplicate and bloat out your existing software. So setting up the basic systems settings, I'll explain you how that works. So adding your address, stuff like that all comes under this. And then comes domains. Domains means adding up your domain, So your sales, whenever you're creating any funnels, some of the CRM supports funnels. So if you connect your domain already, it's going to be under your domain. If not, it's going to be some random ass domain. Sending emails is important. If you don't have proper domain, you can't send proper emails. These all come into the same thing. So email domain for this, and this happens in the same thing. And then phone number. For some users, phone numbers, you have to do the E2P4, I forgot what it's called, registration. So making sure the registration is done, making sure your calendar is integrated, and sometimes some CRM system have their own inbuilt calendar, like HubSpot, like GoHighLevel. So making sure the calendar is used and accepted, and cookies. So some CRM system have an embedded code that you can take and put them in your website, and the CRM system will tell you exactly when someone visits your website, when do they check, which pages have they gone to, etc. And if you have any other integration, you can always integrate them with your CRM system. Just go to the app settings, integrate them to your key tools such as Google Drive, Calendly, your accounting system. All these basic integrations most CRM systems offer. So let's show you how to do exact steps here. So let's go over pipeline and stages. The way I would do it, let's go to CRM. So in here, all you need to do is go to settings, and there's going to be a thing called opportunities and pipelines. In there, go to pipelines, and in here you can create a new pipeline or edit your existing pipeline. There is always going to be a default pipeline, right? You can always edit that. Then click on the edit default pipeline and just name them. Add a new stage, whatever you stage you define, new leads, contact attempt, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Name them, add them in there. Easy. Name them and add them in there, So contacted, not interested, this, and then put them in the right stages, Don't put the one stage before new leads. Just have proper order and click on save, and boom, that's it. It's that simple. Now let's do required custom fields. So that the way you do that, this has to be important here. Make sure you don't mess this up. So the way you do that is most CRM systems, you go to the settings and you go to the custom fields. HubSpot works the same way, Zoho works the same way. Go to settings, and there's going to be an option called custom fields. So you can also just Google search, where is my custom fields, is going to show up. And in the custom fields, you always make sure you choose the right object, because every CRM has different objects. There is a contact object, there is a deal object, there is company object. So wherever you assign creating the deal fields, make sure you add them to the right object, and make sure it doesn't conflict, the name doesn't conflict with an existing default fields. So there is two kinds of fields. Default fields are fields that already come in. Create date, name, email, phone. You can't create the same fields. Even if you create the same fields with the same name, it's going to be so confusing that your one sales team is going to update this field, the other one is going to update this. It's going to be such a big mess. Make sure you don't rename, you don't overwrite an existing field, or delete, or God forbid, delete an existing default field. Don't do that. So click on add field, and make sure what type of field do you want. Some cases you want single line, some cases you want drop down. If you want to do proper reporting, such as lead source, things like that, always make sure it's drop down, because when you do single line, it's very hard to do reporting, right? So single line, wherever it's text based, to single line. Wherever it's a paragraph, you can choose multi-line or paragraph line. Wherever you want a number, choose number. Wherever it's a phone number, choose phone number. Wherever it's it's an amount. Some CRM calls it amount, some call it monetary. And drop downs, that's the most important part for any tracking related CRM, right? Any reporting, for any fields that has certain set of options, always go with drop downs, because it's much easy for you to report. It's much easy for you to create filters and be like, hey, if there's this option. But if you need to choose multiple options, such as interested service always use multi is important. Radio select is basically like a checklist sort of thing. So yeah, checkbox. Some of them will have the same, like, just different things. It doesn't make sense why you can use either of them. Yeah, just the way in which it looks. And this is important mostly for forms. When you're creating forms, if one of these custom fields are going to be added to your form, make it in a way that it just makes it easier. Checkboxes are easier if it's like lesser 5, but if there is an option that's big, I always recommend going with radio select, because radio select or something like this, because radio select it's going to show up very, very easy option to select from. So it's not going to show all the options. All right. So the date pick, very obvious. It's a date option. File field is a file option. Signature is a signature option. So just choose the right fields, create the right name, and I'll show you an example, right? And then in some CRM, you have to select the object first, then you select the type. In some CRM, you select the type first, then the object. This is in here. In here, it's something like this. You see the object. I can choose which object it is. Is it the contact object, company object, opportunity object, and then you can type in the name, and you can also group them together. I always recommend grouping them. This is the most important part. So your CRM looks less cluttered. And I'll show you exactly how I group mine. You can put them in the right group, and you can add any unique key. Unique key is important when you're setting up automations. But honestly, since you don't know what it is, most of you guys just don't touch it. Just let it be anything random. Just type in the name. Add any placeholder if you want. It's going to be the placeholder that shows up, like something like, hey, johndoe@gmail.com for email stuff. Ignore my retarded ass. It's 3 a.m. Yeah, I can't type well. So you guys get the point. All right, so that's how you create the custom fields. Now let's go back. And now setting up the base settings. So making sure you go to the most CRM system would take you through an automated onboarding process that would show you all the key settings that you need to update. But in case you missed it, or in case you have done it, it mostly involves setting up things like your address, your settings, where your company is from, which time zone do you want, what is your region, what's the exact address, what type of businesses do you have, how many members do you have, do you want to allow duplicate contacts, do you want to have multiple people, stuff like that, right? So making sure the baseline settings are enabled. Few of the baseline settings that I recommend that needs particular attention on, firstly, is the contact information. Whenever you send out email address, these are the details that they would usually check. So making sure these things are set up correctly is very important. It helps you save a shit ton of legal chaos. Time zone, very important. Some automations that are triggered on your time zone. Some CRM tools allow you to send automations at 9 a.m. on their contact time. Some don't. So making sure the time zone is not some random time zone, but your business's time zone is important. Choose the language. Some CRM allows you to have multiple languages. That's cool. Some don't. So in here you can choose and make sure the outbound language doesn't exactly matter, but just choose whatever. But most important stuff is things like currency. If your CRM, you're operating in a different currency, choose the currency, adding your website. And now we get to the important part. They allow you to enable and disable certain settings, such as allow duplicate contacts, which I always recommend disabling. Never allow duplicate contacts. So people with the same email is going to show up as 2 contacts. It's going to cause so much chaos in your business. So make sure this thing is disabled. And yeah, sometimes they allow you to, how do they find existing contacts? For some business, they are very phone number heavy. Some businesses, they're heavy email heavy. Whatever business you are heavy on, choose that respect, and then you can have second preference as well. They use both to combine. And some of them will ask you, hey, do you want multiple opportunities for the same contact? Depending on how your business is. For me, one contact will only have one opportunity. Every other deal, we don't usually track it after they become a customer, so I usually disable it. But for some businesses, you need to have one customer is going to buy 10 different times, and 10 different times they go through the CRM. Track that. So disable that option, enable the option of multiple opportunities for the same contact. Things like that is what you need. So this is what I'm talking about. Things like that is what you need to pay particular attention on. All right. So now that is done. Next thing is domains and email services. So these are 2 different things, right? It's not exactly the same thing. Domains is when you go to the domain section and you add your domain, so that whenever you create any funnel, it comes under your domain. So let's go to domains. So let's go to domains. So this is the domain section, and every CRM, it's quite easy. Yeah, most CRM just gives you step-by-step instructions, and sometimes they even give you tutorial videos. Yeah, so you can either buy domains within the CRM itself, or if you already have an existing domain, which I believe is most of you guys, sometimes it's in GoDaddy, sometimes it's Cloudflare, wherever your domain is in, right? You can go to the domain, get the DNS settings and put them in here. So it's quite easy connecting a domain. Just choose where your domain is in. Sometimes they have a very one-click connection, which is so beautiful. You don't have to do anything, but most businesses, most CRM don't have it. You have to click on your own branded domain, and they're going to give you certain settings, and all you have to do is, for me it's in Hostinger, right? All you have to do is go to your hosting platform where it's hosted. Go to your hosting platform where it's hosted. For me, as you can see, it's going to be, for me it's in here. Now you have to know one very important thing. You can't connect your main domain. You can't, if my company is called automatemybuzz.ai, because we build automations, but you can't connect automatemybuzz.ai because that thing is connected to your website. You can't have one home for multiple people. One home is for one person, right? So if you connect your domain, your CRM domain to this, there's going to be a conflict. So you need to create a subdomain. Subdomain is going to be something like, it comes right before the main thing, xyz dot or subdomain dot yourmaindomain.com. That's how you connect it, and it's very easy. You don't have to do anything. The only thing is, they're going to ask you, most CRMs will ask you when you're creating a domain, what do you want the subdomain to be? And then you type in, it's going to be like, either could be CRM, could be this, could be that, could be studio, and then when you type that in, it's going to give you the exact settings. All you have to do is just go to your CRM, go to your Hostinger. So all you need to do is go to your Hostinger, go to your hosting platform, wherever it is. For me, it's in Hostinger. For you, could be Cloudflare, could be Namecheap, could be GoDaddy, wherever it is. So all you need to do is just come to your hosting platform, Once you come to your hosting platform, go to the DNS settings. Whether you're using Namecheap, whether you're using GoDaddy, whether you're using Cloudflare, wherever it is, every single platform has a DNS settings. Go there, and once you go there, in this section, just add the records that the CRM give you. As I mentioned earlier, right? You type in the subdomain, it's going to give you certain settings. All you have to do is just go to your hosting platform, go to the DNS settings. In here, you have to type in which record they give you. So every record, when they give you certain details, it's going to show you which record it is. It could be an MX record, it could be an A record, it could be a CNAME record. CNAME record is the I don't want to get into it. TXT record. All these records, just type in what type it gave you, the name and the value. It's always the name and the value. It's always name and the value. Ignore these things. Just keep it as default and just add record. That's it. They're going to give you 3 or 4. Add the 3 or 4, the type, name, make sure everything is properly added. Add record. Then there's going to be an option called verify. Either it's going to be in here. Most probably it's going to be in your CRM. Then it's going to show, hey, everything is connected. Boom. You have connected domain. Now, any website that you create, any landing page that you create within your CRM system, if that is possible, is going to be under the email.this / the name of the page. So it's that. The same steps to connect domain is the exact same steps you need to follow to connect your email service as well. Sometimes it's going to be a one-click install, but in GoHighLevel, you need to connect your domain separately, you need to connect your email separately. It's the same exact process. So what email? Let me tell you something. There is 2 ways in which you can connect your emails. Either you can connect your Gmail directly. So every single email goes through Gmail. So every single thing goes through Gmail, and we can directly connect it from your Gmail itself. Or if you're sending emails in mass, if you're sending broadcast emails, campaign emails, all those things, I never ever use your Gmail. It's the most stupidest thing. I'm gonna save you such a big headache. If you use a Gmail to send newsletters, did you know that Gmail has a 50 user limit per day? You go beyond that, boom, you're blacklisted. Every single email in your domain gets blacklisted. No one knows this, and so many people abuse their Gmail, and they don't know they got blacklisted, and they don't know that every single email that they send out to their investors, their customers, their clients, their team members are all going to junk because they got blacklisted because some stupid guy sent a newsletter blast to more than 100 people, 50 people. So always use a subdomain. So it's quite simple to add your own domain. So most CRM would have an option called add your own dedicated domain. So in here, I click on that, and then it's going to give you the exact same thing that the website did. It's going to show you, it's going to give you certain records, some MX records, some TXT records, some this record and that record. And it's also going to ask you what your subdomain should be. Best practice is always adding things like email or support or this or that. Email is the best thing. Email.automatemembers.ai. That's how it's going to be. And then it's going to give you certain records. Same thing. Go to the DNS, add the records, and boom, it's connected. Now moving forward, every email blast, every email is going to go from this email.automatemembers.ai, and also it's going to mask whoever is they assign you, right? The way in which you configure the automation is going to say that, hey, it's coming from Fahad, it's coming from this, but technically it's coming from the server, your domain server, not, I don't want to get into it. It's going to get too confusing. So you guys get the point. So that's how we connect. That's how we connect email services. Phone number, you just go to the phone number section, wherever the phone number section is. So your phone system, you go to the phone system, add in the phone number. It's that simple. You have to do certain compliance check. You have to be like, hey, I am compliant. I am making sure every automation I send has a stop button. You have to do certain compliance requirements. It's pretty simple. I don't want to go into this thing because I don't want to keep this video for too long, but it's very simple. Just doing certain settings, enabling certain checklist, connecting your domain number, etc. Calendar integration. If the CRM system doesn't have direct calendar option, connect your existing Calendly or any tool, cal.com or wherever it is, and also connect your calendar, your Outlook or your Google Calendar, wherever it is, so that it can check the availability. Yeah, so you do that by going to the calendar settings, and in here it's going to show you, hey, do you want to use, so for some CRM is going to be calendar settings, some CRM is going to be in my profile. In my profile, every single user has to do this. Yeah, they go to my profile, they can connect their calendar, they can connect their connect their calendar. They can also connect which tool that they'll be using. Are they going to be using are they going to be using Outlook? Are they going to be using Zoom? Are they going to be using Teams or Google Meet? So making sure first, once you add your calendar, add the tool that you use, and then you should be good to go. Yeah, you should be good to go. And then you have to define what times you're available. So some calendars allow you to define them in the calendar that you create. Sometimes it's in the profile section. Sometimes it's in both. You create your time in the profile, then you create your own different time in your calendar. So once you add your profile stuff, it's more to the next thing, cookies. Yeah, very simple. So all you need to do is CRM systems would give you a code, an embedded code. All you have to do is just go to your website, whether it's in WordPress, whether it's in WordPress or any other softwares out there where you have your website, where your CMS is called CMS, the technical CMS. Go to the code, add this to the header. That's it. Add this to the body tag. Wherever the body tag is ending, just put that in there. It's very simple. WordPress has an entire different plugins so WordPress is very simple. Just type in YouTube how to add a script on XYZ platform, whether it's WordPress or whatever platform that you're using. Just type that in there and then you can add them in there. After that, you can track who is visiting your website, who clicked on what pages did they went to before they contacted you. You can see all those things. It's beautiful. It's amazing. So once you connected cookies and any other integration, sometimes you guys are using QuickBooks, sometimes you're using some other tools, right? Every business has different tools. You can always go to the integration side of things or app side of your business and connect all the key tools that you use, right? Whether you're using LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Google Ads, Xero, QuickBooks, whatever tool that you use, it just makes so much easier. It just allows you to have direct connection. This contact is going to be connected in here. You can have so many things. I'll explain those things later, but yeah, add any other connection, and that's how you make sure step 2 is done of setting up the CRM system. So just to recap, what we've done so far is, firstly, we defined what your sales process look like, and based on that, we created a process map. Once we did that, once we know what your sales process look like, what stages do you have, what custom fields do you need, then we went by creating your CRM, choosing the right CRM firstly. Video for that is going to be attached in here, which will be launching in a few weeks. Then we set up everything in the CRM system, the pipelines, the custom fields, the basic settings, the domains, email services. We went through every single thing. Now, the third most important step of them all is making sure you automate everything that you can. There is technically 2 ways in which you can automate things, all right? You can either automate things within the inbuilt automation feature of your CRM. So every CRM will have, most good CRMs would have their own inbuilt automation tool. It's called workflows in some places, it's called automation in some places, it's called something else in some places, but mostly every single tool will have an automation feature. However, this automation feature is often limited to doing things within their software, but most of your businesses would have leads coming from Facebook, would have leads coming from Shopify, would then have document being sent through DocuSign. And they would not have these integrations in place, or you can't customize who comes in. If you create sometimes some softwares, right, would have in the app section, in the integration section of this, they would have an option called Google Ads. They would have an option called Google Forms. You connect it and you be like, hey, every form submission, add them in there. There's a problem with these integrations. You don't want every single form submission to be added in. Maybe you want only one form to be added in. Stuff like that is very hard to do so. Someone calls you on CallRail, you connect CallRail together. Every person who calls you, even if it's a junk guy, it's going to be added to the CRM, makes it clunky. I don't like this. So I always like to use custom integration tools like Make.com, Zapier, N8N, Tably. I like to use those custom tools, and then I would connect them to CRM. Then I would tell them, hey, only let these people in. So keep that in mind. So 2 ways in which we can set up integrations: inbuilt, but inbuilt is limited to the softwares within, and then other integration tools. I use a mix of both to do what I need to do. Yeah. How do we know what to automate? I always recommend asking AI. Now that once you map your business process, right, you can easily see what is happening. And if you ask AI, It's going to tell you all the things that you could technically automate. And you can be like, and the things that I always recommend you automate is things such as when lead comes in, instant email acknowledging them, instant SMS send on the email, notifying your team members to call them, creating a task for them, stuff like that, and then adding them to the CRM also. That's the most important thing that comes before these things. And then having follow-up reminders for your team members and for your customers as well. Hey, you submitted a contact us form, please fill these things out. Hey, please fill these things out. Or hey, we try to contact you. Any follow-ups, any appointment reminders, all these things I always recommend having automations for. I'm going to show you an example, right? I'm going to show you a very simple example for a marketing agency, right? For these guys, the way in which we automate it is the moment the lead comes in, we have a contact us form and also we have a chatbot. They interact with the chatbot and they have certain qualifying questions, right? They told me, Fahad, we have certain qualifying questions. I told them, Nick, tell me what qualifying questions do you have for these guys? He gave me a list. I told the chatbot, hey, ask these follow-up questions. You can ask these follow-up questions to any people who is talking to you. If they are qualified, then send them to the CRM. It's that simple. So either the AI chatbot talks to them or they submit the contact us form and they submit all the fields that we need, and then we create them on the CRM. We collect the key fields automatically. We will have different forms for different things, we will have different forms for different channels. So Google adds one form, this channel, this form, this channel, this form, and we'll set up an automation where, hey, if they submit this form, it's this source. So we store different sources, then we create the deal CRM, right? We create the deal in the CRM and we put them in the right stages. Remember I said we created pipeline, we put them in different stages. So we create a pipeline, we put them in one stage, and then we notify the salesperson. We create a callback task for them automatically. Then we send them a welcome email, welcome SMS, and then I love the spot where we automate a Slack notification with 2 buttons to choose from. It's going to look something like this. So it's going to look something like this. Every time they get an appointment, every time they get a lead, it's going to give them all the details, and then they can either click on view contact button and it's going to go to the CRM, show them, or they can click on cancel the call and it's going to cancel the call or mark them as junk. So setting up those simple automations makes your life so much easier. It cuts down the admin work that your team does from hours to mere seconds. So stuff like that is important. And if you do call them, right? When you do call them, sometimes they don't pick up the call. So what do? You put them in a particular stage called no-show stage or whatever stage you have that you defined earlier. Boom, you set up an automation in your CRM that's triggered when they move to that stage, and then you have 6 to 7 different follow-ups, which AI will tell you what follow-ups to have, what delays it is. I would not fully trust AI, but just choose whatever you think is best. Yeah, somewhere between 4 to 6 is what I recommend. Follow-ups over every 2 to 3 days. In the initial first week, have more follow-ups, then slowly slow things down a bit. And this follow-ups would allow your team to not bother. Because did you know that most businesses happen on the 12th follow-up? 80% of businesses happen on the 12th follow-up. 80%. Most of you guys only follow up twice. Can you feel bad? And you do those 2 follow-ups every 2 weeks. They forgot about you by then. So having these things in place is going to make your life so much easier. So it's things like no-show automation sequences, appointment confirmation automation sequences, AI researching sequences, proposal follow-up. Once we send a proposal, following up on this, stuff like that. Just having these automations. Once you map your process out, you can then fully see what's going on. Then you can start adding automations to every single thing. What I usually do is whatever your sales process is, have more follow-ups, have automated reminders to your team members, and have automations to do certain small tasks using AI, such as we have an AI for these guys that does prospect research. It researches on their key job openings. It researches on their recent job openings, any offerings that they have, any press releases that they made, what funding round that they have, such stuff like this. AI can do research before you do. Before you jump on a call with them, and then they can send them over to you before you jump on a call. And stuff like this. And then we have an AI that automatically creates proposal. Basically, this AI is going to go to the Fireflies, is going to get all the call transcript, and then it's going to create a proposal document right after the call finishes. Instead of you spending 2 to 3 days to create a proposal and losing the deal, you can send them in the next 5 to 10 minutes. How beautiful is that? How many deals do you think you can close if you create a proposal 10 minutes after you finish the discovery call? You tell me. That is possible with the advancement of AI, cloud, and all these things. Created a cloud video in here to do exactly this, how to create proposals after the call ends. Check that out. Check that out whenever you guys get the chance. Anyways, so having these map touch points, then automating all those small things is important. Once you automated them, right, using inbuilt CRM tools in here, or outside tools using integrations like Make.com and Zapier, then let's move on to creating one button system. This is one of my favorite systems, such as one button systems is things like this. You see, click on cancel. One button system is like an automated interface where you click on a button and it does certain actions. So one thing I love, few things I love about one button automations is things like this. New lead comes in, it's going to automatically notify you where your team is always in, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's Slack. It should not be WhatsApp, by the way. It should always be Slack or Teams. Whether it's this platform, whether it's email, notifying them, they click and it does stuff. Amazing. So one click for calls. So me, since I'm heavily in my email, I get a notification every time a call happens. 5 minutes before the call, I get an email like this. The name of the person, the company name, the email, every single detail I need to know, all the questions that they answered on the form. It's all going to be in here. The AI research is going to show up in here, and then I will have 2 buttons to choose from. If I click on, and whatever button I click is going to do the respective automation. There is this really funny story I'll tell you. I'll tell you how important and how useful this shit is. I did a webinar a while back. Someone attended the webinar. They go to my website and they book a discovery call. Sadly, they got busy. They didn't show up to the call. So what did I do? I don't even know who this person is. I just put them in the no-show automation sequence that I have. A month later, I was attending an event and he randomly saw me there. He saw me in the streets. Like, hey, are you Fahad? I was like, yeah. Bro, I seen your webinar. I booked a discovery call with you. And you've been following, he was like, you've been following up with me ever since. I was like, bro, and he's like, you've been following up with me ever since. I was about to get in touch with you again. I was like, bro, I have no clue who you are. It was my automation doing it. He thought it was me. That's the beauty of these no-show follow-up sequences. You don't have to worry about these things anymore. As a business owner, you or your team, just keep closing. Forget about follow-ups. Follow-ups are important, but let AI do those things. Why do we have to do those things in this place? So no-show button, but one button automations just makes it so much easier at wherever you're in. If I click on late email is sent to them. I don't have to type these things in. I can prepare the meeting while they're ready. Just click this button, then prepare the meeting, and they show up. Boom, I'm ready to close. Proposal requested. If you click on this, I love this, by the way. Not only do they update the stage and then an email is sent, hey, we will send you a proposal in 2 days or 1 hour or 2 hours or whatever it is. It's also going to open up a form for me where I type in, hey, did we book a follow-up call? Yes. When I click on submit, do you know what's going to happen? For this particular user, right? It's going to open up a calendar and then I can choose what time I want to book. I don't have to go to the calendar, type in the date, add their email in. It's very easy. I do this, and all I need to do is just choose a time. Click on the time, boom, the call is scheduled. Their email is automatically added in. The user whose calendar is automatically connected. Once I click on that particular time, the invite is sent, the email is sent. It's beautiful. How amazing is that? And if you don't book a follow-up call, just click on the no option in the form, and then it's not gonna screw all these things. It's gonna do some different set of automations, which is amazing. That's why I love one-click automations like this. There are so many use cases for these things, right? For reminders, for these things, so many use cases for these one-button system. So make sure you do these things, and the most important, I'm circling this obsessively because this shit is important. Reporting. Every single 7 to 8 figure business owner who was at 6 figures, and I personally saw them go to 7 and 8 figures. Do you know one thing that they all obsessed about? We worked with Nas Daily, we worked with the co-host of the Dave Ramsey show, we worked with Law by Mike, we've had talks with Ali Abdal's team, and we've talked to $1 billion VC firms. We worked with those guys. Do you know one thing? All these guys, 7, 8, 9, 11 figure businesses that we worked with, do they have one thing that they all have in common? Reporting. It's reporting. They obsess about reporting because that's the only way you know if something is working. That's the only way you know something is working. How do you think your dad would consider you as a failure? Is by comparing your marks to your brother's marks. Hey, brother got 20, you got 7, you stupid. You know what I mean? But you don't do that in your business. You do that with your kids. You don't do that with your business. Why? That's how you know which kid has potential to go to college and which kid is just going to end up doing OnlyFans. Okay. Reporting. So now, why did I keep reporting in the end? You can't do reporting if you don't have all these things in place. You haven't mapped things out. You haven't automated things automatically. You haven't defined different stages. Once you map everything out, once you have a proper CRM, once you define different stages, once you do these things, guess what? Now you can do reporting because all the database, the source, like if your teacher didn't take test, would you know who is stupid or who is not? Because the teacher took test, she put the marks in a paper. Now you have a place where the data is. That's pretty much the same thing for reporting. Now that you have a proper CRM where everything is happening, everything is automated, your your sales team.
So now that everything is automated and you have a database, now you can track all your KPIs. You can track all the KPIs.
Okay. All right. So what key KPIs do you need? I'll tell you what key KPIs. Firstly, ask AI. I have an entire different video on what KPIs you need to track. I'll attach them in here. But for most businesses, the main key KPIs is how many leads did you get on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? How many conversions do you have per stage? How many people went from new leads to qualified leads? What's the percentage? What's stopping them? How quickly were you to respond? How quickly did you contact them? How quickly did you send a quote? How quickly did they want? How quickly did you qualify them? What's your conversion like after they become qualified? How many people end up actually becoming your customers? Is your percentage 20? Is your percentage 30? Then you compare them to industry benchmark. Okay, I'm falling behind. No, I'm good. I'm not good. Stuff like that. So these are the key KPIs that every business need, right? And this is the data that you can use to then propel your business to the next XYZ figures. All right. So let me show you how I do my KPIs here. So some key KPIs that I use. Yeah, how many open leads are there in each stages? I can see, okay, there is $300,000 worth of clients in here. There is 300,000. I can see exactly which stage each people are in and how they are going, how the percentages are going down. Okay, I had a 2% drop down in here. I had a 3% drop down in here. I can see how many people are dropping down across the funnel. I can track my conversions. I can be like, hey, I have a conversion of 25%, 5% above the industry benchmark, which is good, but I can do better. I can get a 30. Now that I know I'm falling behind, I can now implement the strategy on doing right things. And this is what I mean. All right, remember that video? So you can either have something like this, contact by source, where every single source that you have is broken down in here, or what I like is two different things. Contact by source, contact by specific source. In HubSpot, it's called original contact or latest contact source and source drill down. And the latest contact source will only have 4 or 5 segments. It's going to be paid, organic, direct, referral. So it's going to be these 4 groups. And then the drill down is going to split these groups into few things. So this is how you can see which group is performing really well. I can be like, hey, my referral group is performing really well. That means more people are referring me to different people. My direct people is right behind that, then others, and then organic. Paid ads is non-existent in here. That means I need to work a bit more. And the specific ones I can see, okay, hey, from this community I'm getting the word of mouth is following that. This way I can optimize my strategy accordingly to which source I get the most leads from. Some sources I'm not getting things from. I can just skip, I can just ignore spending time there. I can see, okay, my average duration is 2 days. It's usually 2 days in which I close deals. I can see how many open opportunities I have. And let me tell you, my most favorite one is lost reason. I have such a well-defined lost reason. I can see exactly why I lose leads, and then I can optimize on that. I can see that people become unresponsive. 44 of them, majority of them are unresponsive after I contact them. Do you know what I did? I ended up booking every single person. They never leave my appointment. If they book a call with me, like, Fahad, I need to think about it. Awesome. Take 1 week. Let's book a call with you a week later. Take as much time as you need. They never ever lose. They never ever get out of my calendar, because of which my responsive just dipped down. I was only able to do that by seeing this. So that's why KPIs are important. So that sums up the CRM Masterclass, which I think it took like 30 minutes. Sorry, it took like close to an hour. I literally don't think there is any video out there that goes over things in such depth, because I've been doing this thing for 6 years. Yeah, I've tried to gist down every single thing in one video. So I hope this video was bang on helpful. And before you go, I want to even give you more value. Yeah, I've created a quick checklist for you. Everything I explained, right? I created a quick checklist. This is the exact same checklist my team uses internally to make sure we did a really good CRM migration, optimization, setup project. I will give you this checklist. Click on the link below. Download the checklist. Link is in the description. And one more thing before you leave. If you as a business owner want to stay ahead of all the operational challenges, all your competitors, all these AI things that you try so hard to keep up but you can't, I'm going to attach a link to join a waitlist. I'm going to be launching a school community in a really short time. If you join the school community, in the school, we will be giving you all the... Bro, you just saw a one-hour masterclass. What do you think I'm going to do in the school community? Shit's going to be bang on value for every single one of them. I'll be giving you discount codes for all the key tools. I'll be giving you weekly calls to answer any of your questions, the templates, the PDFs, the automation tools, the AI agents. I'm sharing everything over there. Anyone who joins the waitlist will get the founder prize, after which when it's launched, I obviously will increase it. So join the waitlist, click on the link, and I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, ciao, bye.